Let me start over. I don't think my sound was working before. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday and Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure. All Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and to the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X. My name there is at Doug Pless. All right, everyone. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, nice long weekend, and ready to go today. All right, just want to let everyone know that Bookmap is encouraging everyone to join Discord. You do need a Bookmap subscription. There is a free subscription available. Also, great sales going on now. So once you subscribe to Bookmap, you will need to verify your account, then you can fully participate in chat and watch all the streams in Bookmap Discord, including my chat room, my stream, as well as many others. There are many advantages to joining Bookmap Discord, such as Discord-only streams like the recent Funded Trader webinar series. Great information, and was available only to in Bookmap Discord. A couple of other notes today. Bookmap is having a Black Friday sale, and that did begin on Friday. Also a Cyber Monday sale that begins today, goes through the 12th. And I believe you can go to bookmap.com/deals for more information. So two promotions going on now. Here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. This is the basis of my approach for trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures. Certainly in the large cap tech stocks like the Magnificent Seven stocks that I follow and trade, as well as the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index. SPY is the ETF version of that index. And the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index. QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index. And the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading. The first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I'll look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. Setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options, depending on the asset as well as the way you like to trade. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Jug chat channel as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello, oh boy, welcome, glad you're here. Hello, Stephen, welcome, glad you're here as well. Here's my agenda for today, Monday, December 2nd. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll get to the live market. I'm going to try to get to the live market quicker today. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started with the economic data and events for the week. And definitely a packed week with economic data. This is the events calendar in the Spotgamma dashboard homepage. Let's quickly go over this. So today there were two PMI data releases. The S&P manufacturing PMI came out at 9:45 a.m. and that was greater than expected, greater than previous, but less than 50, still indicating a contraction. Then at 10 a.m., ISM manufacturing PMI came out. That typically is more of a market mover than the S&P PMI data. That was also greater than expected, greater than previous, but still less than 50. So that's today. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., JOLTS jobs opening. Wednesday, 9:45, S&P services PMI. And then at 10 a.m., ISM services PMI. And then Jerome Powell will be speaking at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time, about 15 minutes after I start my webinar. So we'll keep an eye on the market as Jerome Powell starts to speak on Wednesday. Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, jobless claims. And then Friday, the jobs report, big data release of the week at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. To wrap up the week. All right, so fairly busy week. Again, concluding with the jobs report on Friday and Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. All right, so that's the economic data and events for the week. Now let's move on to positional analysis. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES Futures and Bookmap. And I'm looking at data beginning. That's actually beginning yesterday, late yesterday evening. So it looks like a good bit of the rally occurred before the open up until about 10 a.m. All right, so let's zoom in now get closer to the regular trading hours. So very choppy day, slight grind up. S&P has been chopping up and down around this SPY 603 level, and then finding resistance at the SPX 6050 large gamma 4 resistance level. All right, before I go further with this chart, let's take a look at a higher time frame. I'm going to go to the SPX underlying index. The rally continues. SPX made a new closing high with the rally last Friday. Looks like it may want to make a higher high today. All right, so the rally continues. SPX. Slow grind up in a very positive gamma environment. Let's take a look now at a 30-day 1-hour chart. The last chart was a 1-day chart. Thinkorswim, 1 day, 1 year worth of data for SPX. This is a Thinkorswim 30-day 1-hour chart. A few key events here. Post-election rally. A little bit of a pullback. SPX found support right around 58.50, and rally now continuing, making new highs And so far today, new high just right around that 60.50 level. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. That's based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. Those levels remain in place for the entire week. This is the light blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move. That's also based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX, again from last Friday. Note, I did wait. I was busy. I was traveling over the weekend, so I did not grab the expected moves on Friday like I would normally. I grabbed them late yesterday afternoon. They seemed a little low today, plus or minus 17 points. So it looks like SPX is trading up to the upper daily expected move today. Again, the dashed blue lines. So those levels may be a little bit off today. All right, let's take a look at the Spotgamma levels now. These are the dark red lines. They're based on gamma-weighted open interest. They're available to Spotgamma subscribers. They're available on a variety of trading platforms. Again, this is Thinkorswim. Let's take a look at the key daily levels. First of all, the put wall is at 5,800. That's the strike with largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. And that level did move down from Friday. All right, so last week, put wall down at 5,500 and moved up to 5,950, now back down to 5,800. So that is the put wall. The next level up is the volatility trigger, VT there. That's at 59.95. And that is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility and gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. In a positive gamma environment, like SPX is trading now, a very positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. So again, SPX trading well above its volatility trigger in a very positive gamma environment. Just above that is the 6,000 absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. That is where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. That is definitely the largest absolute gamma strike on the board. And above that is the call wall at 6,100. So the call wall on Friday had moved down to 6,000 with the rally on Friday. And now it's back up at 6,100. That's a strike with largest net positive gamma. That can be expected to act as resistance. So past 60, 50, 60, 55, that would be the next target on board. But we'll see in just a minute the JP Morgan short call and the JP Morgan collar. That strike is at 60.50, should provide some resistance at that level. All right, so for SPX today, volatility trigger call wall shifted higher, put wall shifted lower. And for SPY, there was a bullish hat trick, volatility trigger, put wall, and call wall all shifted higher. All right, so those are the key daily levels in play. Let's wrap up our view of SPX with a 1-minute chart. This is Friday right here. Oops. This is Friday. And then over to the right is today. So big rally on Friday, a little bit of a pullback into the close. SPX gapped up and is trading at a very narrow range. support right around 60.35. That was a resistance level on Friday, and then providing support today. So resistance on Friday, support today, and then resistance at the 60.50 level. That's a large gamma 4 level, and then the upper daily expected move just below that. And very choppy day, pretty difficult to trade the S&P 500. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap. All right, so there's that support level earlier today, and that's right at ES 60.50, which is equivalent to SPX 60.35. So that brings up a point. There is a difference in price between ES and SPX, and today that offset is about 15 points. So ES minus SPX equal 15. So again, SPX 60.35 and ES 60.55 at that support level. You can also see the liquidity there in the order book that came in right around 11. I'll darken up the heat map just a little bit so you can see that a little bit more clearly. This is what I'm talking about right here, the liquidity coming in at that level. And price reacting again at that level. The heat map and Bookmap is showing a history of the limit orders in the order book. Right, let me turn that back down. All right, so again, resistance right at the 60.50 level, which is equivalent to, and that's the SPX 60.50, that's equivalent to ES 60.65. I think I must have this upper weekly expected move for ES in the wrong place. I'll have to go back and check my numbers. All right, so very choppy day. Not a lot to see here in the S&P 500. Let's move on to where the action has been today, and that is the NASDAQ. Very bullish day in NASDAQ. Especially in some of the Mag 7 stocks. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Strong move in the morning, beginning at the cash open. This is right at the NDX 2970 put wall. We'll see that on the index chart and NDX chart in just a minute. And then up to the QQQ 516 level, as well as the NQ 21,250 level. All right, let's take a look at the underlying index charts. We'll go to QQQ first. Let me point out a few key levels. Volatility trigger below at 509. 510 is the absolute gamma strike. And the next gamma strike above Spotgamma strike is at 520, the call wall. So still plenty of room to run for QQQ, for the NASDAQ to move higher with the call wall at 520. Nice rally in the morning, and then resistance right around the 516 level. All right, that's QQQ. Let's take a look at NDX. All right, here's the put wall at 20,970, actually higher than the call wall at 20,475, and that does happen in the in NDX. Also, here's the absolute gamma strike, 21,000. So support around the put wall. We just saw that in Bookmap. Resistance at this combo 3 level at 21,140. A combo level in the case of NASDAQ combines NDX and QQQ, gamma weighted open interest, into one combined level. In this case, the price is in terms of NDX 21,140, acting as resistance, then support. Again, resistance, now support. All right, back to Bookmap. All right, so for NDX, the put wall did shift higher, again, higher than the call wall. And then for QQQ, there was also a bullish hat trick. Volatility trigger, call wall, and absolute gamma strike all moved higher. Again, call wall. Sorry, got an Amber Alert. Call wall again up to 520. All right, so definitely reactions at NDX levels today for NASDAQ. And there's this 140 level. And that is right on top of the NQ 21,200 level. And by the way, I'm using the price lines add-on to show all these lines on my chart. So for the S&P 500, I'm showing SPX, SPY, and key ES levels. And for NASDAQ, I'm showing QQQ, NDX, and key NQ levels. And we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. All right, so move on. Let's wrap up our positional analysis by taking a look at gamma for the day. I'm going to start with market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day, shown right here. And I'm going to take a look at the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000. Note all these numbers are positive. On the extreme for the S&P 500, SPX gamma notional 1.69 billion, for SPY 1.73 billion. Very high, very strong positive gamma notional. All these numbers are in the positive territory, moved higher from Friday. So in a positive gamma environment, this indicates for an index, traders are short calls, market makers are long calls, hence the positive gamma, and they have to trade against price to delta exposure. And again, that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. So that was market makers' position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. Let's take a and also one other thing to note here, this Spotgamma index. This is what Brent Kachuba, the founder of Spotgamma, normally looks at. I thought the theoretical range for this number was -4 to +4, showing +5 today. Very strong positive gamma in kind of rarefied territory at +5. All right, let's move on. Let's take a real-time look at gamma. What this chart is showing, this is the trace chart. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. And it is showing a real-time view of gamma, market maker's gamma position. Blue is positive. So you can see now, this is for SPX only. Very positive gamma up above. That's also shown by these gamma exposure GEX bars. Very positive gamma above. Also, the Spotgamma, the stability index, I would have expected this to be a little bit higher, or actually much higher, up in the 90% range. Let's take a step back in time, take a look at gamma just after the open. We'll go back to 940. So you can see a fairly low stability index just after the open. With a little bit of a pocket of negative gamma below and still positive gamma above. Note this large strike, that is the 60-55 strike that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Again, that's the short strike of the JP Morgan collar trade. So JP Morgan short calls to pay for a long put. Of course, market makers position, they take the opposite side, so they're positive gamma there. Let's quickly move through time. So the price, I have 5-minute candles for SPX, and that purple line is the hero signal. So now SPX is still below that very strong positive gamma above. All right, so based on this, my thesis was bullish based on the shifts higher in levels, especially the bullish hat tricks and SPY and QQQ. And then also I was looking for lower volatility based on the very high positive gamma notional, as well as the gamma shown on this chart here. All right, so let's move on to execution now. Move on to real time. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. And as always, I'm going to start by taking a look at what options traders have been doing today. I'm going to go to the hero chart. So now we're moving on to execution, starting with the S&P 500, taking a look at what options traders are doing today. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the S&P 500. We'll take a look. Much more action in Nasdaq today. Just want to go over this quickly. So what this chart is showing, this is the hero chart, hedging impact to real-time options. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. There are two versions of hero that we can take a look at for the S&P 500. This chart is showing, this is the index chart. This chart is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. The white line is price, and the purple line is the hero signal and price for SPX. So white line, price for SPX. Purple line is the hero signal, and a falling hero signal indicates traders are taking negative delta options positions. They're buying puts and or selling calls, and a rising hero signal indicates they are taking positive delta positions. They are buying calls and or selling puts. So that's the index signal. Let's move on. There's another signal we can take a look at for the S&P 500, and this is the equity signal. And today it is the MAG 7 plus 493. We'll see that in just a minute. What this is showing is options trades and market maker hedging activity in real time for all 500 stocks in the S&P 500 index. Let's shift over to puts and calls. I'm going to have to jump back to the index signal so you can see the orange line is showing calls. So this is providing much more clarity today when I separate out puts and calls. Orange line for calls, blue line for puts, blue line pretty flat, and the rising orange line indicates traders are buying calls. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. In this case, they have to buy ES futures to hedge their delta exposure. Let's zoom in. Let's go full screen. So you can see from a few minutes after the open, maybe 9:45, this line was rising, traders buying calls, and they took their foot off the gas just after noon, and now price consolidating. So that is the index signal. Let's go to the equity signal now, which were bullish. From the open, traders buying calls, slope decreases a little bit, and finally has flattened out about 1250, and price is consolidating. So traders have been buying calls in the index products as well as the S&P 500 equities. Let's go to Bookmap. Go back to ES. We'll get to NASDAQ in just a minute. So again, very choppy price action. Support right at the 60-50 level, ES 60-50, SPX 60-35, and then resistance at SPX 60-50. Large Gamma 4 resistance level. All right, good day for spread trades, maybe an iron condor or something like that, or leg into it, sell a put spread down here, sell a call spread up here. And that's how I prefer to trade the S&P 500 in a very positive gamma environment. All right, let's move on to NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the heat map in Thinkorswim, so you can see clearly what's driving the market today. Mostly large cap tech, not so much Nvidia. Apple was earlier today. Large cap tech driving the market. All right, back to NASDAQ. Great move in the morning, great bullish move. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go back to Hero. Take a quick look at the NASDAQ index signal. So just like the S&P 500 signal, this is showing a combined signal of options trades in the index components, in this case, NDX and QQQ. Traders buying calls shown by the rising orange line. Move on to the MAG 7 signal. Traders have been buying calls in the MAG 7 stocks. That's what, again, what is really driving the market today, driving the NASDAQ especially. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to sell stock to hedge the delta exposure, in this case in the MAG 7. So the MAG 7 is Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. And we'll take a look at some of those stocks that have been driving the market. Sharp move higher in the morning. And then options traders slow down a little bit and have finally taken the foot off the gas right around 12:50, 1 o'clock. That's when the equity signal stopped moving. All right, let's go back to NASDAQ now. So we know traders are buying calls, selling, buying calls in both the MAG 7 stocks as well as the NASDAQ index components, driving price higher. Let's go back to Bookmap now. Launching point, NDX 970 put wall, NASDAQ blast higher, several pullbacks. And note, large traders were initially participating in that move higher with iceberg orders they used to hide their size. They started to fade that move pretty quickly. And then on this pullback, they came back in. And I'm watching the light blue line there that started to fade the move higher. Much more reliable on the subchart. Cumulative volume delta, that's the dark blue line. Rising up until about 11:45, flattening off, now leveling down. Also, the yellow line on the subchart is showing stop orders. So in addition to options trades in both the index and Mag 7 stocks today and the call buyers, aggressive buyers in NQ were driving the price higher, as well as buy stop orders helping to fuel the move higher. All right, so that's NASDAQ. Very bullish day in NASDAQ. So the Mag 7 stocks are back, at least for today. All right, so Mag 7 stocks, let's take a look at some of the stocks now. I'm going to start with Apple. Strong this morning. 240 is the call wall. So a quick move up to the call wall. Note the high liquidity at that level. The very typical stocks. This is the heat map, again, a book map showing a history of the limit orders in the order book. Those were limit sell orders. And they, for stock, they typically will stay in the order book from the open. There were some at that level, some sell orders before the open. A lot more came in at the open. They will typically stay in the order book until they're filled. That's what happened here. And those limit sell orders were consumed at the call wall. And well, let's see what options traders did at that point. Let's go to Apple. And for Apple, I found that the total signal provided a little bit more clarity. Let's go to Apple, showing puts and calls combined. Let's zoom in a little bit. What I'm trying to avoid is this large block order here that tends to distort the signal. So we'll zoom in just a bit more so we can see in the morning. Need to zoom in just a little bit more. Zoom in the morning. Rising hero signal. Sharp increase. Flow alert comes in just a couple minutes after the cash open to get your attention. A quick peak. P-E-A-K, peak. In the hero signal. It moves lower. Then traders start taking positive delta positions again. Price moves higher. And as Apple breaks above the call wall, 240 call wall, options traders quickly take the foot off the gas. Again, that's a large block order, large institutional order. Let's see if that was put to calls. I'm going to have to jump. Let's see if we can go quickly. So large institution selling calls at that level, at the call wall. And then both the put line and the call line flatten out. And now Apple is starting to grind lower. Now they have actually started to sell calls and buy puts. All right, so that's Apple. Very bullish morning up to the call wall, a little bit above. And then traders took their foot, options traders took the foot off the gas. Next, Amazon. Pretty similar to Apple, but much more clear that call buyers were driving price today. Zoom in on this just a little bit. Flow alert comes in just after the cash open. Aggressive call buyers. Price breaks above the 210 call wall, key gamma strike. A little bit of pause in the action. Call buyers come in again. Take the foot off the gas right around 10:25. And price starts to move lower. So initially traders are buying calls, start selling calls, price moves lower. Now it looks like the call buyers are coming in again as Amazon has moved back down to the 210 level. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to Amazon. Remember, 210, call wall, key gamma strike. And it looks like that's about the opening print. That's a big, this very large green volume dot. Let me enlarge the volume dots just a little bit. Call buyers, again, pretty quickly take the foot off the gas. Absorption at the 213 level. Those limit sell orders at 213 never consumed. And again, options traders take the foot off the gas. Aggressive sellers starting to come in, shown by the magenta volume dots. And now the limit buy orders at 210 looks like they were consumed. Bullish morning, again, traders pretty quickly take the foot off the gas, and now price moves back down to 210. All right, next stock, Google. Very similar, push higher, but in this case, Google still consolidating above VWAP. Let's see what options traders have been doing. Let's go to Google. Aggressive call buyers. 170 is the key gamma strike. 172.50 still above is the call wall. Call buyers in the morning. Flow alert, signaling significant option activity to get your attention. And they again pretty quickly take the foot off the gas. And now Google consolidating. So far, early call buyers definitely driving price in some of the Mag 7 stocks. Next stock, Meta. Call buyers took their foot off the gas much later in the day. Aggressive call buyers in the morning take the foot off the gas, resume buying calls right around 11. Price moves higher, and again take the foot off the gas just after noon, and now price holding and consolidating. Let's go to Bookmap. Go to Meta. Very strong day in Meta. 600 call wall up above. Couple of deep pullbacks after the rush higher in the morning from 570. Let's see where. Let's zoom in on this. Get a little bit closer look. So almost a 15-point move higher in the morning, 14 point. Looks like right around 576 was the low. Absorption at the 590 level. Note how those limit sell orders came in the order book at the open. Remained in place until they were filled, just after 11:30. And a nice deep pullback to VWAP there. And great entry point for a long pullback to VWAP. And it looks like even more liquidity has come in at 595. Again, limit sell orders in the order book. And you can see the total number there, 21,597. All right, that's Meta, very bullish day. And next stock, Microsoft. Another very bullish morning, and price holding steady between right around 430 and 433. Let's see what options traders are doing in Microsoft. So there's Meta again. Call buyers in the morning, take the foot off the gas just afternoon. Price consolidating. 600 call wall, key gamma strike above, as well as liquidity at 595. Let's go to Microsoft. Similar picture, except in this case, traders continue to buy calls. So aggressive call buyers in the morning. Take the foot off the gas. Or I guess slow down on the accelerator. Now Microsoft consolidating. Back to Bookmap. Put up the volume dots. You can see in the subchart here, cumulative volume delta increasing pretty sharply, and then flatlining. Session volume profile also showing most volume traded today is right around 431. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, so again, market definitely being driven by some of the Mag 7 stocks. Let's take a quick look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA not doing much. Let's see what options traders are doing. Go to NVIDIA. These are very, very small numbers for NVIDIA, especially calls. Slightly positive 1.757 million. That is a very, very small number. So really, traders are buying puts in NVIDIA, shown by the negative notional value, the falling blue line. So put buyers driving price in NVIDIA today. Let's take a look at Tesla. Choppy day in Tesla. Initially, traders for just a couple of minutes buying calls. Start selling calls. Very timely flow alert comes in, signaling significant options activity, and flow alerts can often signal a reversal in hedging flow, in this case from negative delta to positive delta. This is what happened here. Call buyers come in, Tesla shoots higher, and again they take the foot off the gas, start buying calls again, and now they've taken the foot off the gas, Tesla consolidating. Note the call wall is up above at 360. Price did not quite make it up there today. Let's go to Bookmap. So there's that 360 call wall and all the high liquidity looming high up at that level. Note the high number of shares at that level. That's about 418,000. All right, let's check on the indexes. Again, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Any questions? All right, so the S&P 500 having trouble getting past that 60-50 level. Check NASDAQ. NASDAQ also starting to grind lower. Let's go check. Go back to Hero. I'm going to shift to the total signal. Start with the S&P index signal. It is making lower highs. Check with the equity signal. Now it is also starting to make lower highs. NASDAQ signal pretty choppy, but making lower, moving lower now. Mag 7 also moving lower. So all the all four of the index hero signals, or the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, moving lower now. Nanny wants to take a look at SMCI. Sure. Now I don't have that in Bookmap, but we can take a look in Hero here. Most likely traders buying calls. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Traders buying calls. Price breaks above the 40 call wall. Sorry about that. Auto zoom. And thank you, Stephen, for posting in YouTube a link to join Bookmap Discord and also a link to the Bookmap deals. Thank you very much, Stephen, for doing that in YouTube. All right, so SMCI call buyers driving price above the 40 call wall. They pretty abruptly take their foot off the gas just before 12:30. Now SMCI consolidating. Back to the total signal. Let's go back to S&P equities. S&P 500. All right, let's take a look at trace. We'll start with delta pressure. What this chart is showing is, and note I have zoomed in on this, what this chart is showing in red area is selling pressure above, market maker selling pressure, and you can see that lines up with this positive gamma above. And then some buying support down below in the blue. All right, so that is the delta pressure chart. Let's zoom back. Let's go back to earlier today. This is 9:50 a.m. Note SPX mostly in a neutral zone between red above and blue below. I'm stepping through time. Still mostly in this neutral zone and this negative gamma. Let's continue stepping through time. And starting around 11:30 or so, SPX definitely moving up into the red selling pressure. Having trouble again getting through that positive gamma above, primarily the 6,055 strike. Let's shift over to Charm and see if we can see where SPX may end up today. A little bit. All right, so what we're looking for is something like this right here, that right at the last closing, in between, actually looking more like this, right at 60.55. That makes more sense. Note the vortex of contour lines. So buying support below, selling pressure above. Sometimes it's very clear, sometimes not so much. That's pretty high. I'm not sure I can see SPX getting up to 60.65 at the end of the day. That's what charm pressure is showing. Let's go back to Bookmap. SPX again trading in a very narrow range today. Check NASDAQ. And still grinding lower. Back to Hero. Go to NASDAQ. NASDAQ index signal moving sharply lower. Mag 7 also grinding lower. And Nanny asked, do you recommend any options play based on Hero chart? Not necessarily on the Hero chart. On the Hero chart, I recommend or look for setups. But again, as I say in my introduction, those setups can be taken with options, futures, contracts, or shares of stock. And especially for the indexes, for the S&P 500, in a very positive gamma environment, I'm not looking to buy a call or buying a put. Especially, I don't expect much movement in a very positive gamma environment, and I'm looking more to trade spreads. And that's really based on the positive gamma environment and reactions at support and resistance levels. So, for example, if you buy a call spread or sell a put spread, all you're saying is price has to remain above the short strike, and you make full profit. Vihan asks, are you using Bookmap with Global Plus? Yes, with NASDAQ total view data. All right, so let's take a look. Let's go back to Bookmap. All right, so what I'm using Global Plus, Bookmap Global Plus, and then for futures, right now I'm using Rhythmic data. And I'm considering switching over to Bookmap data. I'll probably do that. And I think it's pretty much, let's take a look at ES. And I'm going to go to let's take a look at 60 minutes. So that's the last 60 minutes for ES Rhythmic. Go to Bookmap data. We can also take a look at 60 minutes. Now I don't have price lines on here, but otherwise Pretty close. So your choices would be for futures either rhythmic or bookmap data. And then for stocks, I'm using DX feed, which is, and I use the bundle, which is NASDAQ, Total View, and EDGX. So that's the data I'm using now. So again, VHAN, thanks for asking that. Again, Bookmap Global Plus, rhythmic data for stocks, may switch over to Bookmap data. That also includes MBO data, and then DX feed bundle for stocks. All right, everyone, I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. Remember, coming up on tomorrow, JOLTS, and then Services PMI on Wednesday morning. Jerome Powell will be speaking at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time, just a few minutes after my webinar starts, and we'll keep an eye out for that on Wednesday. Everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks again. Bye.